Hi, welcome to Ask Love Coach and welcome to my masterclass, my marriage masterclass. It's always an honor to be here to just share one or two knowledge of what I love, what I really enjoy. I really want to see couples winning, and I want to see a lot of couples really enjoying marriage. I don't want it to be more like struggle love or endurance work. I want people to truly live and fulfill their purpose, their individual purposes as well as their marriage purpose. So I really want to see happy couples, couples who have joy, couples who are fulfilled, they are satisfied, they are contented with one another. Not the kind of couples that seem as if they are in prison, they are trapped. So I really love what I do, honestly. Like, I am always happy to share one or two knowledge. I really hope I'm making any positive impact in somebody's life. So today's topic is kind of coined to empaths. I know some people may have heard the word empath. I think it stems from the word empathy. So people who tend to be attuned or kind of connected to how others feel. So they are people who could be considered as people who are sensitive, people who are nurturing, people who are healers, people who are just empathetical in terms of just not being self-consumed. But they are aware of other people, their feelings, and they are very nurturing, caring, kind people. It sounds everything positive and good, isn't it? You would imagine, but they tend to be in some love traps a lot. I tend to see a lot of people say, why is it that good people tend to attract a lot of toxic people? I also hear people say things like, oh, you know that you attract who you are. So a lot of empaths are actually struggling to understand what different and how does it actually, how do they connect? Like, how does it connect with you being so good, wonderful, amazing, caring person to attracting a toxic person? A lot of toxic people also have some positive traits as well, or qualities that is magnetic when it comes to being around empath. But that's not for me to digress because the topic is pretty much what it says. How the empaths will need to, what they need to be aware of, and how not to ignore them, because they tend to actually suffer a lot in a relationship. And I think in most cases, especially with clients I've had in the past, they are actually bad pickers when it comes to partners because they have this nurturing and they see the good in people, and they almost don't consider that how that could affect their own peace of mind. They think they have their physicians or some therapist or some, I don't know, they have this magic healing, I don't know, hands or something. Not like if they think about it, but that is how they tend to kind of express themselves in the relationship to their own detriment in most cases. So I've got you covered. I've got some important tips and tricks for you to consider so you don't get trapped in that like that. So I will be talking about some of those energies and tips as well as some of the issues or what they look like as well as how to manage them. So overcoming energy drain, because that is one of the things they do, because they keep giving, 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 giving. And because they tend to often connect with people that need their characteristics. When you are aligning yourself with people who need your characteristics to that depth, it's almost as if you're their doctors, you're their solutionist, you're their caregiver. And because they are taking, your cup is not being full. So most likely you're going to be drained, worn out. So number one trap for the person who is overwhelming, that has overwhelming energy drain, like you're ignoring your own energy levels and you're absorbing, the emotions of others, that can lead to exhaustion. You'll be exhausted. So the way for you to manage that, because it's still important for people to give in a relationship, sometimes it becomes almost contradictory to say unconditional love, because I believe in unconditional love when it comes to relationships and literally with people in general. And people will also ask, since unconditional love is not about you getting something, you're not doing something because you want someone to give you. So even if I'm not giving to you because you have unconditional love, should I have been a problem? It becomes a problem. The fact that I am not loving on you because I want you to do certain things for me, or as much as I've done for you, but I still want you to also see me. I want you to feel me. I want you to also be there for me, because remember, we're all mortals. We all have capacities. It's very important for us to understand, because you still want your cup to be poured into. You can't say because you have a well, you open it for everybody to come and fetch water from it, and you are not thinking of refilling that well. They will, it's a matter of time, the well will run dry, and that means you're not able to still feed them. So you have to have your own source as well of refilling your cup, so you never become exhausted of pouring into your partner. So self-care, having a sound boundaries, and you just need to make sure you're recharging and refilling that energy, the source of that energy. Number two is lack of boundaries. A lot of the time, empaths tend to just not have boundaries at all. Either they have, or maybe they don't have clear enough boundaries, or they are not reinforcing the boundaries. So the people or the person in your life is not regarding your boundaries, because you haven't really enforced it to the capacity for them to know that I don't mess around with my boundaries. So it's very important for you to learn how to have a clear boundary and communicate the boundaries to your partner. I know it almost sounds as if you're telling people to also be mean by using their vocabulary, using the word no, like know your capacity. It's okay for you to say no, because you're no superpower. You're able to create boundaries for yourself. It's very simple. Don't compromise on those boundaries you create. I'm sure you would have seen my video about different kinds of boundaries for you to create. Another thing is absorbing negativity. You are, because you have this soft spot for people, always seeing the good in people. You tend to sometimes become like a negative collector. You're constantly collecting BFs, collecting people, just stepping on your emotions without even considering how you feel, because they believe that you are superpower. And oftentimes the way the empaths get trapped is these people who they kind of attach themselves with in the name of partners. They tend to, because they know they are really good people, they have like a kind soul. So the way to take advantage of it for them, they think that it's another way for them to pour into them, is by kind of hyping them, always complimenting on their good character and their good self. And they they focus on those compliments from the people who are not appreciative or considerate of their feelings. Now their emotions become, they become distressed with their emotions, with these so-called negative emotions. So that then becomes a problem for this empath. So one of the ways for you to actually consider that, setting a clear boundary is one of the ways, but it's also important for you to have like a strategy, a technique for you to be able to um, manage the negativity that comes your way or you're exposed to. You have to create, it's kind of part of your boundary creation. You being able to say no, you being able to even do other external things or other things other than the relationship, like doing meditation, but any other thing that will help to refill the energy that you have burned as a process of being in that relationship. Of course, your energy in general. Oftentimes, because of your kind nature, because of your good nature, you tend to just kind of not have yourself on the list pretty much. You're not considering your personal needs. It's almost as if you prioritize everyone else but yourself. So you are neglecting yourself. You are serving people at your own detriment. Remember, a lot of people are just selfish. It's just selfish. Nothing selfless about them. So when you're around these people who enjoy you pouring into them, but they don't see the need to pour into you, it is draining. It is draining. You see, that's why I encourage people, when you are practicing this unconditional love, like I say in most of my videos, like people will always want to know that if it's unconditional love, that means I can slap you, I can step on you, I can mistreat you. That is not what it is. So you shouldn't be looking for unconditional love when you are not practicing it yourself. Because if you are practicing it, it's easy for you when you find someone who you can equally align with on that level, because they are not here to use you. They're not here to deplete you. They are not here to just cause you this level of pain that they are causing you. It's okay for you to help people and not be emotionally attached to them. It's all it's good for you to be sweet to people and not have that sexual connection with them or any form of emotional attachment. You being an empath does not mean you should lose your mind just because you're trying to prioritize other people and neglect yourself. That is doing disservice to your own emotional and physical well-being. You have to be able to also factor your needs into your time and your energy that you gift freely to people already. Toxic relationships. Like I said from the beginning of this video, they tend to be trapped in a lot of toxic people in general. Then, but since we are limiting this to relationship, just because of that, they're sweet, kind soul, always seeing good in people, nurturing, giving, serving. They have this heart of service. So it does not mean they don't look beyond, but just give and give and give and give. And because they are very serving in nature, people tend to take a likeness on them. And in relationship, they manipulate them with I want to be with you. And because of that, their good nature, they don't often have the ability to filter and choose wisely. So a lot of them get stuck in this dead end relationships. So it's very important for you to consider your needs. It's important for you to remove yourself from toxic relationships. You have to always remember to prioritize your own mental health and make sure you are actually building and connecting with people who are also pouring into you, who are also they have positive impact on yourself. So saying no, creating boundaries, focusing on yourself as much as you focus on other people is really key. And be very mindful about the kind of relationships you find yourself. Learn how to walk away when a relationship is sapping your energy, like it's energy vampire kind of thing. You have to be able to regulate yourself and grow your mind to learn how to walk away, even though you have this sweet, kind soul and these all the good things people desire in a relationship, because they tend to attract a lot of broken people because they like that they're healing aspect of them, because doing this for someone who has have not worked on their brokenness, like I said, we're all broken people. It's not about stereotyping people, but a lot of empaths, even though they are broken, but they still know how to put other people first before them. But no matter what, it's very important for you to differentiate yourself, distinguish yourself, remove yourself from people who are not empowering your energy. I understand it can be difficult for you to say no just because you have a big heart, but you have to factor that into your vocabulary. Be assertive with it, be practical. Um, Say no when it's necessary, but do not neglect your well being. I know you feel guilty about saying no to people, but sometimes it's really healthy to say no. Your intuition is really powerful. Ignoring it is not what it's not good for you. So those red flags, those negativity and negative emotions, um, those kinds of intuitions and negative energies in general that drains yours and sucking like vampire kind of, you have to be able to actually identify those negative energies and walk away from them in a loving and in a kind self place, because you're already a sweet person. So a lot of the traps that the empaths tend to fall into is something they have to work over time to correct. You have to prioritize self-care. um, you have to truly be self-aware and make sure that you're very intentional when you're picking people that you want to share or spend life with. But avoid people who are not just ready to point to you, but just to run you down and warn you out. You have to protect that energy. So thank you again, once again, for listening. These are you know, some of the traps empaths tend to fall into. I've provided list of solutions for you to explore and consider, as well as you're making, you know, as you're learning about some of the traps you have been into just by virtue of being with the wrong person in marriage or relationships. I understand that some empaths who are already married might be wondering, do you have any help or tips for me to consider? It depends on the kind of person you're married to. um, Having a conversation with them and sharing, some of the hurts and feelings that you have or experiencing that is dissatisfactory to you is one of the biggest ways for you to actually start to, walk through some of the issues. In some cases, you might not be able to cut through because it would seem as if somebody is influencing your new you, or because your partner is never experienced that aspect of you. Maybe that's one of the things they actually fell in love with, that you're not actually prioritizing yourself, but prioritize them, because again, it's about using or taking from you. It's all about abuse. So in some cases it might not cut through, you might not be able to resolve that alone, but you might want to seek again external support or people who can help you work things out. But you must be able to clearly articulate some of the negative experiences you're encountering in those relationships. Seek third party. um, you can seek the help of family members, friends, people who genuinely care for you and your husband, or you and your wife, or you people as a couple, but not someone who would quickly like take sides. So in a marriage, it can be a little bit dicey because of the dynamics. children might be involved, investments involved, businesses and stuff of that nature. So you have to be cautious with it. Having to identify these traps can help you to start working on your self-awareness to the capacity where you're able to start to kind of maybe adapt and adjust or create a new habit that would help you to navigate in that relationship. The first step is not always to run. Some of the experiences an empath experience might be lack of self-awareness, which they didn't know that they could even create new boundaries or amend their existing boundaries or say no or kind of prioritize their self-care, but oftentimes just cruise, just be on autopilot or auto cruise, which is not helping them in general. So seek external help, seek support from any organization or individuals or therapies or people that that can help you. But it's very important for you to start addressing those issues. A lot of empaths get trapped, like I said from the beginning, especially with toxic people, just because these toxic people enjoy what they embody, who they are, how um, they listen to them, how they make them feel, how they serve them, how they support them, how they prioritize their needs. So as long as they are taking, they are cool. But giving, they have an issue because they don't even know they are supposed to give. Be very mindful and careful with people you express unconditional love with, because if you are truly exhibiting unconditional love, that does not mean you don't have to have self boundaries or set boundaries, but you're able to explore other things and make sure that you're equally receiving positive energy and you are not operating from save me space but in a full space. I really do appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. Please share this video. If you haven't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so that whenever we post, you will be one of the first people to actually be notified. Thank you so much.